Hello students. So students, we will continue with the same chapter, environment, and today I'll finish this chapter. So in the previous class we discussed about 10% energy law, and so today I will share some based on that. Just see here. You can, if you want, you can write also. So see here. It's not given in your book. I am sharing with from some other book. See here, I hope you all can see. Calculate the amount of energy available to lion in the following food chain if plants have 20,000 joules of energy available from the sun. So this is the food chain. Plants are eaten by deer, deer is eaten by lion. Now you know that plants absorb 1% energy from the sun. So the energy is available is 20,000. So plants will absorb 1%. So if plants absorb 1% energy from the sun, then plants will get how much amount of energy? 200 joules, because you know 1% is 1% of 20,000 is 200 joules. Now you know, according to 10% energy law, that from the plants producers, at each level the organisms get only 10% of energy, not the whole energy. Okay, so here deer will absorb 10% energy from plants. So 10% of 200 joules is 20 joules. Lion will absorb 10% energy from deer. So 10% of 20 joules is 2 joules. So lion will get 2 joules of energy. Okay, now so you should know such type of questions, how to attempt. Okay, now please open page number 258, or open the page where food chain and food web is given. Just open that page. 1 minute, I'll just show you what is food web. Okay, it must be given here in a SHL book. Okay, now students, you know, first of all let us study some of the characteristics of food chain. You know that in a food chain each level is called as a trophic level, and producers, I have already discussed this thing with you. Producers, which are plants, are eaten by herbivores. Okay, herbivores. And like if these are the plants, is eaten by grasshopper, which is eaten by, let us say, frog, eaten by snake, and eaten by eagle. And each level is called as a trophic level. This all I have discussed. Now, and these trophic levels, they are arranged in the form of a pyramid. Now, plants are the producers. So here, this grasshopper is a herbivore. So they all are consumers. Okay. But from frog till eagle, they are carnivores, and grasshopper is a herbivore. So grasshopper is the first organism which eats plants. So grasshopper is called as the primary consumer. Now from frog till eagle, they all are carnivores. Okay, so this is a small carnivore, or these small carnivore, or the first carnivore which eats herbivore, are called as secondary consumers. Okay, then the organism or the carnivore which eats this carnivore, the small carnivores, are called as tertiary consumers, and the carnivore which eats the tertiary consumers are called as top carnivores. And each level is called as a trophic level, which is arranged in the form of a pyramid, like I have already discussed. As I told you, you can see here, producers, they occupy the lowermost level, followed by primary consumers. Primary consumers are herbivores here. Secondary consumers are the first order carnivores. Tertiary consumers are the second order carnivores, and on top are the top carnivores. Okay, now here generally at the lowermost level the number of organisms are more, and you know also that producers are more than primary consumers, which are more in number than secondary consumers, which are more in number than tertiary and the top carnivores. Okay, understood? So pyramid is always upright. Pyramid is not inverted. And you know, as we move from one level to other level, as here you can see, according to 10% energy law, the maximum energy is available to plants, then herbivores, then first secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, and top consumers. So the amount of energy it gets, it is decreased in a food chain. Okay, when we move from the lower to the higher level. Okay, and it never happens that the snake will get back the energy from eagle, frog will get back the energy from snake, grasshopper will get back the energy from frog, and plants will get back the energy from grasshopper, and plants will return the energy to the environment. It does not happen. This food chain is always unidirectional, only in one direction, because you know, snake will not eat eagle, snake doesn't eat eagle, frog will not eat snake, grasshopper will not eat frog, plants will not eat grasshopper. So it's always unidirectional, and the energy, it decreases from the lower to the higher level. Another important thing is this, students. Now you know that in order to increase the fertility of the soil, pesticides are added. Okay, or certain fertilizers are added. So DDT, use of DDT, as I explained you in the previous class, that it is banned because DDT is non-biodegradable. Okay, so pesticides are added in order to increase the fertility of the soil. Now some of the pesticides, they are carried by the water to the ponds, and that is consumed by the aquatic life, and these pesticides are non-biodegradable, so they accumulate in the body of the aquatic animals. Okay, and or some of the pesticide gets mixed with water and is absorbed by the soil, and then through the soil along with water and minerals, these pesticides which are non-biodegradable, example DDT, that enters the crops. Okay, now when herbivores eat these plants, they go into the body of the herbivores. They are not degraded, they remain as such. From herbivores, it goes into the body of carnivores, and then it goes into the body of top carnivores. Okay, it keeps on accumulating in the body, and the concentration, it increases. Now like men eat plants also, and men is omnivores, they eat flesh also. So these pesticides from the plants as well as from the animals, it accumulates in the body of the men. It accumulates, concentration increases. Okay, so the concentration of these pesticides or these non-biodegradable pesticides and fertilizers, it increases in the body of the top order organisms, and this is called as biomagnification. It is not degraded even after washing the crops, rice, cereals. How much you wash, it will not go, because it enters in the crop itself. Okay, so whosoever will consume, it will accumulate in the body. Okay, now see here, it is given in your book also. Just 1 minute, I'll just, if you want you can write, or if you want you can take the picture also. Please underline, you can write, otherwise. Pesticides are poisonous chemical substances which are sprayed over crop plants to protect them from pests, okay, and diseases. They mix up with soil and water. From soil and water, these pesticides are absorbed by the growing plants along with water and other nutrients or minerals. When herbivores animals eat plant food, then these poisonous chemicals go into their bodies through the food chain. Okay, and when carnivores animals and herbivores when carnivores animals eat herbivores, then the pesticide gets transferred into their bodies. Man, being an omnivore, eats plant food as well as herbivore. Eats plant food as well as the meat, as well as animals, or you can say meat. Okay, so the pesticides present in the plant food and herbivores is okay, also correct. Herbivores also get transferred to man's body through food. Thus, pesticides enter the food chain at the producer level, and in the process of transfer of food through food chain, these harmful chemicals get concentrated At each trophic level, the increase in the concentration of harmful chemical substances like pesticides in the body of living organism at each trophic level of a food chain is called as biological magnification. That's what I told you. So it keeps on accumulating in the body, and the top or the top organisms has the maximum amount of these non-biodegradable chemicals, and that is called as biological magnification. Since human occupy the top level in any food chain, so the maximum amount of harmful chemical pesticides gets accumulated in their body. These damages our health gradually. Tests have shown that the most commonly used pesticide DDT is accumulating in our bodies through the food chains. Okay, because we don't use only one type of food. We use different type of foods. So what happens when we eat the food? So these foods, these pesticides, they enter the food, and when we eat them, then it accumulates in the body of a man. Please note that the pesticides present in a food grains like wheat, rice, fruit, vegetables, and meat cannot always be removed by washing. Okay, so that is what is explained here. Now, what is you all know what is a food chain? Okay, what is a food web? The interrelated food chains are called as food web. Now students, in a food web, now you know that the herbivores, they eat plants. Okay. Now I gave you the example of plant here. Now this plant is eaten by grasshopper, but it is not only the grasshopper which eats plant. Rabbit also eats plants, cow also eats plants. Okay. Understood? And then herbivores are eaten by many different animals and many different carnivores. There are many different secondary consumers which are further eaten by many different tertiary consumers. Okay, so there is an interrelation of many food chains, and that is called as a food web. In a food web, there are many food chains. Okay, now here in this picture you can see these are the plants. Here it's eaten by deer, here it's eaten by insect, here it's eaten by some other this thing. This is a aquatic. Okay, so this aquatic food chain. Yes. So one organism is eaten by many different organisms, and which constitute a food web. Food web, that is an interrelated food chain. I will show you here in this picture. Just see, you can just write it somewhere because this one which is given in your book is slightly complicated. Okay, so this one is easier. Now here you can see these are the plants. I hope all of you can see. These are the plants. These plants are eaten by rabbits. Plants are also eaten by rat, also eaten by seed-eating bird, and also eaten by grasshopper. Now this rabbit can be directly eaten by hawk. Okay, this plant is eaten by mice, which can be eaten by snake, and then this snake is eaten by this eagle, or this mice can be directly eaten by this top carnivore. Okay, now this, or you can say this plant is eaten by bird, which can be directly eaten by this eagle. Okay, or this grasshopper can be directly eaten by eagle or can be eaten by frog. Frog is eaten by snake. Snake is eaten by this. So you can see there are so many interrelated food chain. This is one food chain. This is another second food chain. Okay, and this is third food chain. You can say now this is fourth food chain. This is fifth food chain. This is sixth food chain. So you can see this is a food web. So where there are interrelated food chains. Okay. Now we will discuss about ozone. Now students, what is ozone? Actually, ozone is a deadly poison. Okay, ozone gas is highly poisonous gas. 1 minute. Wait. So this one we have done only carnivores, third trophic levels. Okay, this one I have already discussed with you in the previous class. First trophic level is occupied producers, herbivores second trophic level, carnivores third trophic level, and for this all we have already discussed with you. Okay, this one first by producers, second by insect, that is herbivores, then third by primary consumers, fourth by secondary consumers, fifth by tertiary consumers, and the top carnivores occupy the last one. Here also you can see here these are the plants, herbivores, carnivores. Okay, directly they have shown. What will happen if all the producers are removed? If all the producers are removed, then herbivores will die. Then what herbivores will eat? Herbivores will not get anything to eat. Okay, if all the lions are removed, okay, so all these such type of questions are there, and I have already given you the answers for that. Now, depletion of ozone layer. Students, ozone, you know, O2 is oxygen. See here, oxygen molecule is made up of two atoms of oxygen combined together. Ozone gas is essential for life. Sorry, oxygen gas is essential for life because it is needed in respiration. Ozone is O3. Ozone molecule is made up of three atoms of oxygen combined together. Okay, ozone is also a gas, but it is poisonous in nature. Ozone is poisonous. If ozone is inhaled, then it is highly poisonous gas. Now, how ozone is formed? Now, students, atmosphere, you know, there is a layer in the atmosphere which is called as stratosphere. So, ozone is found in that layer. Okay, now oxygen is present. You know, in the air 21% of oxygen is present, and in the sun's rays there are radiations called as ultraviolet radiations and ultraviolet rays. These ultraviolet radiations are highly dangerous. It can cause skin cancer. Okay, so this ozone which is present in the stratosphere, it absorbs the harmful UV radiations of the sun, so preventing it reaching on the earth. Okay, now how it is formed? In the air, even in the stratosphere, oxygen is present. So this ultraviolet radiations from the sun, it splits this oxygen into oxygen atom, and this oxygen atom, it combines with the remaining oxygen and it forms O3 molecule, ozone molecule. At a height between 15 to 60 kilometer, there is a layer of ozone gas in the upper atmosphere. This ozone layer is very important for the existence of life on earth because it absorbs harmful ultraviolet radiations coming from the sun and prevents them from reaching the earth. These radiations are extremely harmful. They have extremely harmful effects on human beings, animals and plants. Understood? It can cause skin cancer and some diseases. It also damages the eyes by causing an eye disease called cataract. Understood? Ultraviolet rays damages immune system by lowering the body resistance to disease. Please write this thing, students. Now, so ozone layer, it protects us from the radiations. But you know, students, it has been found that here you can see satellite picture. It shows that a hole is formed in ozone layer over Antarctica. You can see this. So this hole is formed, means here ozone layer is not present. Okay, this is ozone layer, but slowly due to the use of certain compounds, this ozone layer is depleted. Okay, this was depleted, it became thinner and thinner, and a hole is formed, and this hole doesn't have any ozone layer. Understood or no? So this depletion of ozone layer is due to the use of chemicals called chlorofluorocarbons. Please underline, or please remember, or please write somewhere. Chlorofluorocarbons, they are the chemicals which are widely used in refrigerators, even in ACs also. Okay, as a coolant, in a fire extinguisher and aerosol sprayers. These chlorofluorocarbons are released into the air and they go into the atmosphere and they react with ozone gas present in the ozone layer and destroy it gradually. Due to this, the ozone layer in the upper atmosphere has become thinner, allowing more UV rays to pass through to the earth. Thus, due to depletion of ozone layer caused by chlorofluorocarbons, more UV radiation reach the earth. Understood or no? So they react with ozone layer, and what they do when they react with ozone layer which is present in the upper atmosphere, damages it and make it thinner and thinner. So when the ozone layer will become thinner, what will happen? UV radiation will pass through the atmosphere and will reach the earth. Understood or no? I hope it's clear to everyone. 1 minute. So it is 1 minute. I wanted you to, okay, please underline in your books this one under ozone layer. Please underline In 1987, the United Nations Environment Program succeeded in forging an agreement to freeze CFC production, to stop CFC production, okay, at 986 levels. It is now mandatory for all the manufacturing companies to make CFC free refrigerators throughout the world. Please remember this. Managing garbage we produce. What is garbage? The household waste is called as garbage, and in that garbage there are biodegradable as well as non-biodegradable waste also. And you know what is a biodegradable waste and what is non-biodegradable waste. That all we have discussed. Please read activity 15.5. This already we have discussed and it is very easy. Now students, I have told you in the previous class also, like when we eat the food, okay, the nutrients are digested by the enzymes, and the enzymes are specific in nature. All the enzymes, they do not digest all the nutrients. There is a particular enzyme for each nutrient, like amylases. They digest carbohydrates. Okay, so like suppose if we eat coal, we will not get energy. It will not help in building up our bodies, or neither we will it will help us in growth. Okay, because for the coal, or suppose by mistake if we eat any plastic, it will remain as such in our digestive system, because there is no enzyme which will digest these substances. Which will digest means which will break these substances. So therefore, even in the environment also, these now non-biodegradable waste like plastics and other things, they are glass and all, they are not degraded. They are not broken down by biological organisms called as microorganisms. Why? Because there is no bacteria or there is no microorganism which can break this non-biodegradable waste, so they remain as such in the environment. Okay, so all these things we have already discussed. Whereas biodegradable waste can be degraded, can be broken into non-toxic substances. Non-toxic substances means non-poisonous substances. And what happens actually, all the natural substances or the organic substances, you can say, are biodegradable. So here what these microorganisms do, like bacteria and all, what they do, they break the complex compounds into the simpler compounds, as you have studied in nitrogen cycle, even in carbon cycle also, in the bodies of the plants and the animals. Okay, nitrogen or these compounds of nitrogen, it's present in the complex forms like proteins. Okay, proteins in the complex form. So when an animal or a plant it die, what happens? These proteins, I am giving you the example of proteins, but this is applicable for other nutrients also. So by the bacteria or by certain microorganisms, they are converted into simpler compounds like nitrates, nitrites, ammonia. Okay, so these are converted into simpler compounds, and the nitrogen gas is liberated, which goes back into the atmosphere, and some compounds, simpler compounds like nitrates and nitrites, they go into the soil, thereby increasing the fertility of the soil. So what happens in biodegradable waste? These complex substances are converted into the simpler substances by the action of certain microorganisms. Okay, and it also maintains the balance in the nature. So nitrogen, the gas is 78% of nitrogen gas is present in the environment, in the atmosphere, so that is maintained by that. Okay, so that all we have already discussed many times, and I told you what is garbage. Now comparative to earlier days, now the garbage has increased. Why? Because in the improvement of the lifestyle of the people, it has resulted in the greater amount of waste material generation, because the people have become hygienic and their lifestyle has improved, they have become health conscious. Okay, so because of that, garbage has also increased. Changes in attitude also have a role to play, with more and more things we use becoming disposable. Now many things, they are disposable. Before it was not there. Earlier days it was not there. Now you will see most of the things are disposable. Use and throw. And these disposable things are made of sometimes plastics also. Okay, and you know plastic is a non-biodegradable. Changes in the packaging have resulted in much of our waste becoming non-biodegradable. Yes, that is also true, because the packaging material is sometimes a non-biodegradable material. So that has also resulted in the generation of non-biodegradable waste. What do you think will be the impact of these in our environment? Definitely it will pollute our environment. If the waste generated is more, if non-biodegradable waste is more, then it will affect our environment. Now this is, think it over. Like before, you can ask from your parents, before times, tea in the train was served in plastic glasses, which had to be returned to the vendor. Then later on, when people became aware of this thing, that it can pollute the environment, then that was replaced by coolers. Okay, what is cooler? Here millions of coolers. Okay, disposable cups made of clay, okay, were suggested as an alternate, because plastic, so then people became aware that it is causing environmental pollution, so that then it was suggested, okay, we can use coolers. But a little thought showed that making the coolers on a large scale would result in the loss of fertile topsoil. Okay, now disposable paper cups are used. Okay, in trains now tea is served in a disposable paper cups, and it has advantage. The disposable paper cups, they has an advantage over plastic cups, because they are non-biodegradable, they will not pollute the environment. So students, we have finished this chapter, and you know that there are two type of bins. I have told this before also, and this is very, very important also, because they can ask also. This question has come one time in the board exam. There are two type of bins, blue bins and green bins. So generally in the green bins, big green bins, we throw the biodegradable waste, and then that biodegradable waste is treated and is converted into a fertile soil, okay, or fertile manure. And non-biodegradable waste, then it is recycled. Okay, so non-biodegradable waste generally is thrown in blue bins, and biodegradable waste is thrown in green bins. Just remember it. So the waste is segregated. Now I have finished this chapter, but after this chapter I will start offline class, heredity and evolution, and I want you all to revise what is chromosome, genes, homologous chromosomes, fertilization, all these things. Just give a reading of that. I have already discussed this with you. And mitosis and meiosis, what are somatic cells, what are gametes. Okay, just I will revise it once. You know that there are two types of cells, the body cells and the gametes or the sex cells. The body cells are also called as somatic cells. The body cells, they grow and they divide into two cells, and in the body cell the number of chromosomes remains same. In a humans, there are 46 chromosomes or 23 pair of chromosome. N means 23 chromosome. N means half the dose of chromosome and is also called as haploid. 2N means diploid dose of chromosome, that is 2 into 23. So this is called as diploid. Now the somatic cells or the body cells, they have diploid dose of chromosome. They have 46 chromosomes. Suppose this is a body cells. I am drawing rough diagrams. So it will have 46 chromosomes which are arranged in 23 pairs. 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair, and like this there are 23 pairs. Now in each pair, one chromosome is maternal chromosome, that is contributed by mother, and another chromosome is paternal chromosome contributed by father. Understood? And here the chromosomes, they are arranged in a homologous pair. Homologous pair means if this is maternal chromosome, this is paternal chromosome. Homologous chromosome means they have the gene controlling a particular character is present at the same location. Suppose this is the gene which controls the height. So in both the chromosomes, the position will be same. Okay, so it controls the particular trait. Understood? That is what I mean to say. This all is explained to you, but still I am revising with you. Now you know. Let me say these are the chromosomes. Okay, there are 46 chromosomes in a body cells of a humans. Now what is a chromosome? Chromosome is nothing but chromosome is DNA. Okay, this is chromosome. This is a DNA. one strand of chromosome, another strand of chromosome. Now you know that in a somatic cell it divides into two, and both the cells have same amount of chromosome, that is 46 chromosomes. Now what happens as the cell grows, cell matures, cell grows, what happens? DNA replication takes place. I told you DNA starts uncoiling and then there is a synthesis of a new strand of DNA. Okay, so that is called as DNA replication. At the end of the DNA replication, it is seen that such type of structure is formed. This is the parent strand, old strand, this is the old strand, and this is the new strand. So again, if I will coil it, it will form the structure like this. Okay, so here from 2 chromosomes, I have taken only one chromosome. So from one chromosome, 2 chromosomes are formed and each one will go into the 2 cells. So like this thing will happen with 46 chromosomes. So in both the cells there are 46 chromosomes. Now gametes. What are the gametes? The sex cells are called as the gametes. In humans, sperms, male gametes are the sperms, and in females, okay, the female gametes are the ova. This I have already told you. And they are formed in the sex organs. In females it is formed in ovary. The gametes are formed in ovary, that is ova is formed in ovaries, which are also, ova is also called as a germ cell. And in males, these sperms, which is a male gamete, is formed in the testes. They are formed only in the reproductive organs, and somatic cells are found everywhere. But reproductive cells or the gametes are found only in the reproductive organs, that is in males it's found in testes and females it's found in ovary, and they are formed from the diploid cell. In these organs, that is testes and ovary, there are diploid cells. They have a cell which have 46 chromosomes. Now one cell which is present in the reproductive organ, okay, that let us say male, okay, in the reproductive organs of male, that is in the testes, there are diploid cells, and those diploid cells divide and form 4 cells. They form 4 cells, and each cell has 23 chromosomes. Each cell has half the dose of chromosomes, and this process of division is called as meiosis. And the division in which the somatic cell divides to form 2 cells is called as mitosis. That is called as, in detail you will study in class 11. So here these cells, these 4 cells, these 4 gametes are formed which have half the number of chromosomes, and these gametes are called as sperms. In the female also same thing take place. In the females, in the ovary, a diploid cell divides to form 4 cells, and those 4 cells are called as ova, and it has 23 pairs of chromosomes. Now you see here, this I have already told you. Suppose this is a sperm, this is a human sperm, it has 23 chromosomes. Let me say I cannot draw all the 23 chromosomes, but just imagine, you just think that there are 23 chromosomes, plus this is ova. This ova also has, I am darkening it a little bit, this also has 23 chromosomes. Now during fertilization, when sperm it fuses with the ova, okay, when the sperm fuses with the ova during sexual intercourse, so at that time what will happen? A 2-cell structure is formed which is called as zygote, okay, and this zygote is the future offspring. Now here 23 chromosomes of male and 23 chromosomes of female will also come. So here now this zygote will have 46 chromosomes, and how the chromosomes are arranged? They are arranged in a homologous pairs. So there are 23 pairs. In 23 pairs, now you know 23 chromosomes are male and 23 chromosomes are female, and they are arranged in a homologous pair. Homologous pair, I am taking the example of this. This is male. Let me say this is female. So let me say this is the point, or this is the gene which controls the same trait. Let us say it controls the trait height. Now let me say the male parent is tall and the female parent is dwarf. So you know the dominant character is gene is represented by the capital and the recessive is represented by the small letter. Understood? So those are the homologous chromosomes. Okay, that all I have. So now this I told you in the chromosome there are large number of genes. So I have taken into account only one character, but almost all the characters, even the behavior disease, most of the disease, everything is controlled by the genes. That is why DNA is called as the blueprint of life. Understood or no? Now this zygote will have this combination. Now this zygote, which is a future offspring, will have this gene also, will have this gene also. Now the offspring will be what? Half tall, half short? No. The offspring will be tall, because tall is the dominant gene. Or you can say, suppose this is the homologous chromosome, this point or this gene controls the eye color. Here let me say the male has blue eye and the female parent has black eye. Now the child will not have one eye blue, one eye black, or half blue, half black. So what color of the eye child will have? Child will have black eyes, because black is the dominant gene. What is gene? That also I'll just revise. Suppose if this is DNA. What is DNA? Chromosomes. Chromosomes are actually DNA. Now I told you genes are not some stars which are attached or fixed to the chromosomes. This whole of the DNA is not functional. Only the part of the DNA is functional, and that part of the DNA which is functional is called as gene. Each gene controls a particular character. Suppose this gene is controlling height. This gene is controlling eye color. So this functional part of gene is called as this functional part of DNA is called as gene. And there are large number of genes in a chromosomes. You know there are 46 chromosomes. You can imagine there are so many genes. I don't know how many thousands or millions of genes which control each and every character of yours. Now I would like to say one thing to you. Just remember, if this is a somatic cell and if these are chromosomes, just remember students, each chromosome, you know what is this? This is DNA. Okay? You know this is DNA. Just remember, each chromosome is made up of two such type of strands which are held together by one structure, and each of this is called as chromatid. This is called as chromatid. Each chromosome will have two chromatids. Now in a zygote, okay, in a zygote, if they are arranged in a homologous pair, let me say this is pair 1. So this is one maternal chromosome. Let me say this is paternal chromosome. I will take the example of this pair. So here this maternal chromosome, this is one chromosome, it will have two chromatids, and this is maternal. Oh, sorry. I am taking the example of this. See here, first one. This is paternal. Let me say, so it will have two chromatids, and this one will also have two chromatids. So here there will be 4 chromatids. So each chromosome is made up of 2 strands which are called as chromatids. If again I am saying this is one chromosome, it is made up of 2 strands which are held together by a structure centromere, and these are the chromatids. Now pay attention, if this is the gene tall, okay, this gene is tall, let me say, then both the chromatids at the same position will have tall. Now like if you take a thread, suppose this is a thread, here you in this white thread you put a red color ink. Okay, this at this point there is a red color ink. Now or you take white wool and you put red color here, and then you divide this wool into 2 halves. Both the halves at the same point will have red. So same thing I want to say you, each chromosome is okay, each chromosome. Now these, 1 minute again, I'll just explain a little bit clearly so that you don't forget. Suppose this is chromosome pair 1. Okay, this is maternal, this is paternal, chromosome pair 1. So this is the gene which is controlling height. Here it is T and here it is T. Okay. Now what will happen? This chromosome is made up of 2 chromatids. One chromatid, another chromatid, but it will have this T at the same position. Now I will take this case. Here also it will also have small t at the same place. Like I just gave you the example of white wool. Okay, if you will divide into 2 at the same position, there will be a red color. So same thing. So just now if you see chromosome pair 1 will have how many chromatids? 4 chromatids. Just remember this thing, students, and in the next class I will discuss with you what is meiosis, how the gametes are formed, and then I will start with the cross. But if you really want to understand monohybrid and dihybrid cross, it is very, very important for you to understand these concepts of chromosome, chromatids, DNA and genes. If you really want to understand this cross, and this cross is very important and it is difficult also if you don't understand these things, and these things which I have explained you is not given in any book. It is given in the books, but then you will be totally confused, because then you will have to read each and everything which is not there. So please revise whatever I have shared with you, whatever I have discussed with you in the offline class, as well as again and again I have revised with you during the offline class, and again I am revising with you in the online class. Just revise it again, because again I am not going to revise it. I will start with meiosis. I will not explain you meiosis in detail, only the basic thing I will explain you. In detail you will study in class 11, and then I will start with a monohybrid cross. And then you please don't ask me, ma'am, what time, because these things I have explained to you number of times. Is it clear? So again, if you have any doubt regarding this or environment, you can clarify during the live class. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.